What is going on, everybody? You got Tone here, the coach of your Miami Marlins, and I am back bringing you guys IBL Season 4, week number 10, in which this week we will be taking on Odds Are, the coach of the Memphis Bewears, in a very highly anticipated matchup. So if you guys missed the last game, we did take on Eric, aka Heavy Metal Pokemon, and the Colorado Mammoth Swine, and we came away with a very narrow 1-0 win on the back of Mega Aerodactyl, cementing our playoff spot in the Moon Conference. So these last three games don't really mean that much to me, but at the very least I can at least try to solidify my position as either the 1 or the 2 seed, hopefully. But it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, who I play, just making sure that I head into the playoffs on a good note. So nonetheless, you see the team matchup in the top right corner, where my opponent has access to the Tapu Bulu, which is one of his Z-Mons, the Gliscor, Mecha Camera, Mimikyu, Lucario, which is another one of his Z-Mons, Mantine, Druddigon, Greninja, which is his third Z-Mon, Musharna, and the Raichu. So a very solid team, has some very potent threats against my teams. Bulu can be a little bit of a problem if I leave it unchecked or as my checks get weakened down tremendously. Greninja, a little bit more of a problem because of the fact that Mix can be a very, very big pain in the butt. Lucario more so because my Mew is not really defensive this week, and if he's Nasty Plot, I'm a little bit more screwed in that regard. But nonetheless, I do feel as though I have the team that can beat any combination of 6 Pokemon he can bring against my team. So as you see, we're just going to jump right into the team builder itself. So we're going to start the team off with this Mammoth Swine set with the Life Orb, Ice Shard, Ice Cold Crash, Earthquake, and Freeze Dry with max attack, 220 speed, and 36 special attack. Just enough speed to outrun a Jolly Max Speed Tapu Bulu. Freeze Dry is just there specifically for the Mantine, as Fizdef Mantine can take an Icicle Crash from full. Like, I think it can take 2, but I wanted to Freeze Dry it just in case, because Freeze Dry has a better chance of 1-hit KOing Mantine if I'm able to get up Stealth Rock, which is what the primary aim of this Mammoth Swine was. And he really doesn't have a good switch in the Mammoth Swine as a whole. Like, his best bet is going into camera up while Grassy Terrain is up, or trying his best to keep Mimikyu's disguise intact. So outside of that, Mammoth Swine just does a good amount of work against his team in this matchup. So that's what the team started off with. Next up, we have our Salazzle Choice Scarf again. No real surprise there. Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Hidden Power Ice, and Toxic. I wanted to do Hidden Power Water for Mega Camera Up, but I feel like I have enough response to Mega Camera Up that I don't feel like I will need Hidden Power Water that badly, especially considering if he brings, I don't expect him to bring Gliscor and Mega Camera Up at the same time. It would seem like a bit of an oversight or an overkill in that regard, so I don't really see the merit behind Gliscor and Mega Camera Up. I'm expecting more Gliscor, which is why it's Hidden Power Water. If he brings Mega Camera Up instead, I have a Finny Mammoth Swine. If he doesn't have Grassy Terrain up, can pressure with Earthquake, so there's that. So again, I'm not that worried. Running max special attack, enough speed for max speed Raichu, and the rest is just bounce out between the HP and defenses. So it's just my way of checking stuff like a Choice Scarf Raichu if he decides to bring that. Also check stuff like non-Scarf Greninja and all that stuff too. So that is my Salazzle set. Next up is the Munium Z, Nasty Plot, Rock Polish, Psychic, and Thunderbolt. The same exact set that I brought week 8 against Caleb. Just a slightly more offensive set here with enough speed to outrun his, I believe if I recall correctly, it's enough speed to outspeed Mimikyu. He has enough speed for Jolly Mimikyu, max his special attack, rest in the HP. This just actually goes to town against his team because of the fact that his psychic immunity is Greninja, which gets destroyed by Thunderbolt, and outside of that, his psychic resistance is Musharna, which can get worn down pretty easily between my combination of Pokemon. If I brought Hydreigon, that could be a little bit more problematic. Consider bringing Hydreigon, but I'll explain why I did it at the end. But for the most part, what I'm really predicting him to bring is a Tapu Bulu, Gliscor, Mimikyu, Lucario, Greninja, and like Raichu. He could bring Mantine, but those are more so the 6 I'm expecting him to bring. So I sort of plan for that amount of Pokemon, those set 6 of Pokemon. But nonetheless, you can be it's essentially my win con this game, late game win con. I can just skip a Rock Polish, I outspeed his entire team, even Scarf Greninja. After a Rock Polish and then at +2, I can pretty much nuke almost everything on his team, probably except the Musharna. And with Psychic Terrain up, I cannot be revenge killed by stuff like Lucario's extreme speed, Mimikyu's Shadow Sneak, all that stuff. So that's really, really nice. So moving on now to our 4th Pokemon, we have Ferro-thorn, rocking the Chople Berry, Stealth Rock, Leech Seed, Gyro Ball, and Power Whip with max HP, 148 defense, 108 special defense. I kind of was contemplating, I was going back and forth a lot with my EV spread. Like, the set was fine, but I couldn't think of something that can set EV spread that I was comfortable with. So I just stuck with this, and the investment, if I recall correctly, it lets my Ferro-thorn deal with stuff like HP Fire Greninja, Chople Berry, so I could take a Z Superpower from Tapu Bulu, Z Close Combat from the Lucario, stuff like that. And then I can Revenge Kill it with like Gyro Ball, and then Power Whip obviously is for the Greninja, and my best way of dealing damage to the Mantine. So that's pretty much it. My objective with Ferro-thorn is to just get a procs and create some pressure with Leech Seed, because his Leech Seed immunity is the Bulu, which doesn't want to take a Gyro Ball. So I feel very comfortable with my Ferro-thorn. Next up is the Tapu Fini with Defog, Nature's Madness, Moonblast, and Surf. I really wanted to put Taunt over Defog, but just on the off chance he decided to bring like a hazard stacking option with Spice Greninja plus Stealth Rock Gliscor, I have a way of defogging away those hazards and not get worn down by that. Nature's Madness just to whittle down his bulkier mons, and Musharna, the Mantine, stuff like that. And then Stab is just nice. Moonblast hits the Drotagon, hits a good portion of his team, his Fairy Resist being the Camera Up, which I have Surf for, just in case he decides to bring Mega Camera Up. I don't want to get hard walled by Mega Camera Up at the very least, so that's pretty much it for that. So max HP, enough HP, my HP and defense investment, excuse me, with a bold nature ensures that I am not too KO'd by Adamant Life Orb Meteor Mash from a Lucario, and the rest is put in special defense so I can take hits better from the likes of Mega Camera Up, the Greninja, and the Mantine. This isn't my Raichu response whatsoever. Nor should it be staying in on Raichu in the first place. So that's my Tapu Fini set. And lastly is Mega Aerodactyl with Stone Edge, Aqua Tail, Fire Fang, and Crunch with max attack, enough speed to outspeed Greninja, and the rest is just balanced out between its HP and defenses. I did initially have Ice Fang and another move I had. I think it was Wing Attack, or not Wing Attack. But it was mainly Ice Fang. I had Fire Fang because I wanted to hit the... I had Ice Fang Earthquake, that's what it was. Ice Fang to hit the Gliscor harder, and then Earthquake for Mega Camera Up and Raichu. But if Rapid Terrain was up, I won't like knock it out. So shoutouts to Azar helping me with this set. Aqua Tail hits the Gliscor, hits the Mega Camera Up, and Fire Fang his deals with the Bulu and the Lucario and stuff like that. Crunch is there for the Musharna, and Stone Edge is just very nice spammable move against his team. So that is the team builder part of this video. Hope you guys did enjoy and all that stuff. So let's just switch right over into the battle and see how we did for week number 10 in the IBL. And as you're going to see, my opponent brought a very different team than I was expecting. He brought he brought half of what I expected. I expected the Greninja, the Bulu, and the Lucario for sure, but not seeing Gliscor, Mimikyu, or the or the Raichu did surprise me a bit. He brought the Trick Room option, which again I was kind of worried about because I wish I had Taunt on my Fini for this particular reason. And he brought the Mantine just so he'd have a way of switching into water attacks if I did bring my Fini. So nonetheless, More or less kind of what I expected. But nothing really I couldn't handle. So in terms of the lead matchup here, I figured my safest lead would be Finny, because if he let off, I could have a good matchup against pretty much everything else on his team except for Bulu. And if he leads off with Bulu, I have to like do like some very weird predicting. Although I have a responsive Ferro-thorn, I want to make sure I don't reveal my Chapel Berry too early on in the game. I don't want to have my Ferro-thorn get weakened, because looking at his team, Ferro-thorn actually puts in a lot of work in this matchup. Same thing goes for the Mammal Swine and my Mew. Pretty much everything in general puts in work. So I'm just trying to play it close to the vest here. So we're just going to hit play and see how we do in this matchup. So like I said, I'm only with Tapu Fini here because I felt like it was the best lead in my opinion, because it had a good matchup against pretty much everything except the Bulu. So leading off with Phineas, he's actually going to lead off with the Mega Camerupt here. So that's an excellent turn 1 for me. I have no reason not to click Nature's Madness turn 1, because I know for a fact he's not going to stay in and risk getting hit by a Surf. So predicting the Mantine to come in, I am going to click Nature's Madness here. We are going to connect. So right off the bat from turn 1, we have dealt 50% of damage to the Mantine, revealing the leftovers. And I believe this turn I'm going to go for another Nature's Madness. Okay, I went for Moonblast afterwards. So it's been a while since I actually like looked over the battle here. So when the Moonblast here, he's going to go for the Roost. So he's getting back up to about 90%, give or take. This is essentially like a losing battle for me, but the main idea behind me constantly going for Nature's Madness on this Mantine is I wanted to get into a situation initially to get my Mamoswine in for free, as he decides to show off the Surf. He doesn't have Scald, which is perfectly fine by me, so I don't have to risk Scald burns on my Ferro-thorn, and Misty Terrain is on the field. And also, as I was saying, that I wanted to get into a situation where I want to get my Mamoswine in on the Roost, so I can click Freeze Dry for free. But seeing as though he's Surf and not Skull, I'm just going to make the play into my Ferro-thorn, as he's going to go for the Roost, and essentially just get back up to full HP, which is fine by me. So the thing I'm going to do now, but I'm going to click Power Whip here, because again, it's kind of free. As he goes out, I can't talk right now. He makes the play and goes hard into his Camerupt here as I go for the Power Whip and get off a good 50% of damage to his Mega Camerupt, which is great. So obviously I'm not going to stay in here. My main switch into Camerupt is my Tapu Fini, as my Salazzle is not Air Balloon, or else I would have made that play instead. So Misty Terrain goes back up as he's going to get the Mega Evolution off with the Camerupt, and he is going to go for the Fire Blast here. And unfortunately for him, he's going to miss the Fire Blast on my Fini. It didn't really matter at this point, because at the most he would do was about roughly 40% here. So he's going to switch out here, go back out into his Mantine, and I believe I was going to go for the Surf. Yeah, I go for Surf here because, again, it didn't matter. It was not like I was, Mantine was already at full HP, so it's not like I was like helping him get back health. So I'm going to go for Nature's Madness here, as he's going to go for the Surf here. I'm going to eat that up very easily with my Fini. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to keep trying to apply pressure on this Mantine, and still trying to get into a situation where I can get my Mamoswine in on the Roost, and then just keep trying to put pressure with Freeze Dry. So I'm going to keep firing off Moonblast here this time around. He's going to go for the Roost, get back up to a good amount of HP. And the other thing I also want to try to scout for on this Mantine is if he has Defog. Because if he doesn't have Defog on Mantine, that means whenever I get my Ferro-thorn in, I'm going to try my best to get up my Rocks, because once Rocks are up on the field, they will be up for the rest of the match, as I'm going to keep firing off Moonblast. Finally get the special attack drop on this Mantine here, so he's going to go for the Roost, get back up to full HP, which is totally fine by me. I don't know his other two moves. All I've seen is Surf and Roost on this thing. So with Misty Terrain gone here, I'm now going to switch out, and I'm going to go into my Ferro-thorn here, just to see if he has like Air Slash or Hidden Power Fire. He doesn't really look toxic, so he's pretty much waiting for Misty Terrain to end to try to poison my Fini. I'm not going to have that happen, As now he's going to fire up an Ice Beam here. I am going to eat that up. I fire off a Power Whip. Get up a good chunk of damage here on this Mantine. But now that I've seen his entire moveset of Surf, Ice Beam, Roost, and Toxic, he does not have Defog. So whenever I get my rocks up here, I'm not going to go for it this turn. I'm just going to fire up Leech Seed, because it was pretty free, because his leech, like I said, in the Team Builder, Leech Seed resist is Bulu, which doesn't want to take a Gyro Ball. So, get the Leech Seed off on the Lucario here. I am just going to get some health back, break a potential Focus Sash. I'm going to stay in. He's going to go for close combat. I'm going to eat my Chople Berry, and we're going to eat up that close combat hit, no problem, thanks to the Chople Berry. And with the defense drops, after the defense drops here, I'm going to go for the Gyro Ball on this Lucario. I'm going to get a huge chunk of damage off of this Lucario here, and put it into range to where the next Leech Seed hit will take it out unless he switches out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch out to my Tapu Fini. I have no reason not to. Even if he tries to switch up his moves and go for like Meteor Mash or something, I am just going to eat that up, and I'm going to get some health back with leftovers and Leech Seed recovery beside to stay in. He does stay in and go for the close combat here, which my Tapu Fini will eat up, and the combination and the leftovers plus the Leech Seed and a recovery for my Fini is going to take out this Lucario. So this is going to be one kill for the Ferro-thorn here. So Lucario, a big threat, is out of the picture. So at this point, going to go out into the Bulu. Not going to stay in here, so I'm going to make the aggressive. I'm going to be aggressive this turn. I'm going to go hard into my Salazzle, expecting him just to go for the grass move here. I do 4 times resisted, and he just goes for the Swords Dance. So at least I know at this point he is now like a Scarf or Bandit set, but now I have him right where I want him, because with Lucario gone, this is a free Sludge Wave. As he goes out into the Mantine here, I'm going to fire off the Sludge Wave, and I'm going to get off a good chunk of damage, and I'm also get the poison on the Mantine, which does suck for my opponent, but at this point I am just going to go and make the hard read. I'm going to go back out into my Ferro-thorn here, because this Mantine can't literally do much to my Ferro-thorn whatsoever, as he's going to go for the Roost, which is totally fine by me, but I'm in Grassy Terrain recovery. He gets Grassy Terrain recovery because he went for Roost and Leftovers recovery, but he also is poisoned, which does mitigate the Leftovers recovery, and I believe I am going to go for my Stealth Rock this turn, as I literally have no reason not to, because this Mantine will not want to stay in. In comes the Musharna as I get up my rocks finally. So no more free switches for his team at this point in the battle. So now I'm going to fire off a Leech Seed, as he does reveal Heal Bell on the Musharna, curing Mantine of the poisoning. I'm going to get a Leech Seed. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss, which is not the worst. It's not the end of the world, as Grassy Terrain does end. I'm going to keep firing off Leech Seed again, as I really don't expect him to have Hidden Power Fire on this Musharna here. As you see, I did go first, which means he went for Trick Room, which I am totally fine with, because Trick Room benefits my Ferro-thorn, because my Ferro-thorn is slower than his Musharna and his camera ups. So I'm going to click Power Whip here now that I got the Leech Seed off on this Musharna here. He goes hard Mega Camera up here. Take the Stealth Rock damage, and we're going to connect the Power Whip on Mega Camera Up, and that thing is going to drop. So Mega Camera Up is down. So that's 2 kills for my Ferro-thorn here. In comes the Mantine, take the Stealth Rock damage, but because Trick Room is still up, I am still faster for at least 2 or 3 more turns. Just going to fire off Leech Seed here just to make sure I get some constant recovery. He is going to just go for the Roost, which is totally fine. I have no reason to not just stay in and take advantage of the Trick Room and fire off Power Whips at my pleasure. So just going to keep going for Power Whip here, get off some good damage on this Mantine here. He's going to fire off an Ice Beam. The worst thing that could happen is if I get frozen, which does not happen. So I'm going to get the Leech Seed recovery on this Mantine, and I am in pretty much in a solid position here, because the main threat now to my team is the Greninja and the Bulu, and I still have pretty much most of my checks still intact here, as he's going to go for the Roost and get back up to full, well, not full, but roughly 55% after leftover with Elite Seed takes into effect. But now I am back at full HP with my Ferro-thorn here, as I'm just going to keep firing off power-ups as the Trick Room does end. And now he goes for the Ice Beam here. The worst, like I said, the worst that can happen is if he freezes me. He does crit me, but he doesn't get the crit freeze. I'm going to keep firing off power-ups because now I'm still, the advantage is still in my favor because of the fact that if he goes for Roost now, he loses his flying typing and he becomes pure water, which means he's super effective to my Power Whip. So I am sitting pretty right now with my Ferro-thorn. He's going to fire another Ice Beam because he was kind of a tricky situation here. So Ferro-thorn is going to pick up its third kill in the game, killing off the Mantine here. In comes the Greninja. I'm going to not stay in because I don't want to take a hidden power fire, so I'm going to go out into my Tapu Fini. Expecting him to go for like an HP flyer or something, or like a mainly HP flyer, but he's going to go for the Ice Beam, which kind of leads me to believe he probably didn't have hidden power fire. Now what I really wanted to do this turn is, because I didn't see an item, was I wanted to double back into Ferro-thorn, expecting him to go for Z-Gunk Shot, but I decided to stay in, as he does reveal to be Z-Gunk Shot as I expected. The other reason why I stayed in with my Fini was because of the fact that I knew Fini would live Z-Gunk Shot from Greninja, barring a crit or if he's physical Greninja. That would be like the only thing that sets me back, is if he's physical Greninja. But as you see, he is not. We're going to live that acid down at Z-Gunk Shot, no problem. Fire off a Moonblast and take out this Greninja. So Tapu Fini picking up its first kill of the season, and we are sitting pretty 6-2. So now after taking out Greninja, in comes the Bulu. I am not going to stay in, obviously. I'm going to make another aggressive play, but this time, instead of going out into my Salazzle like I did the last time, I'm going to make the hard play into my Mamoswine like I went to on the Mantine. Expecting him to go for Stone Edge again here. Expecting me to go Salazzle, so I get that call right here. I essentially was like, okay, Mamoswine, you're my sacrifice, because I'm thinking this Bulu is Yachi Berries. I'm going to pop the Yachi Berry, but he's not Yachi Berry. I know I'm faster because he's SD, and we're going to take out the Bulu, so I'm like, okay, he wasn't Yachi, as I expected him to be, so yeah, that kind of threw me off a little bit, that he wasn't Yachi Berry the way he was playing it, but Bulu is down. All he has left is this Musharna here. So now I'm just going to switch out here, and I'm going to go directly back into my Ferro-thorn, because there's really nothing to me for the fear from this Musharna as he goes to go for the Dazzling Gleam, which is going to do absolutely nothing. That was actually a crit, which is even funnier. So now I've seen 3 of his moves. I've seen Trick Room, I've seen Heal Bell, and I've seen Dazzling Gleam, which means his 4th move is either going to be Psychic, Moonlight, or Hidden Power Fire. If he had Hidden Power Fire, he would have went for it by now, but he doesn't. So I'm going to get the Elite Seed off on this Musharna here, just to ensure just to put myself in a better chance to win this game, even though it's pretty much already over. But I'm just looking to see what his 4th move is going to be. He's going to keep firing off Dazzling Gleams. I'm going to fire off a Grass Terrain boosted Power Whip and do roughly half. More or less half, but I'm getting the Grassy Terrain recovery, I'm getting Elite Seed recovery, my Ferro-thorn is essentially back at full HP. If he had HP Flyer, he would have clicked it by now. But the problem is, if he did have HP Flyer, he can't touch Salazzle. So now he reveals his 4th move. It is Moonlight, so that means he is Mono Dazzling Gleam, so he literally cannot do much to my Ferro-thorn. He can't do much to my Salazzle. He pretty much can't do much to any of my Pokemon here, so this is just going to be this is more or less just going to be a 6-0 win, barring I choke massively and give him like a free kill or something like that. So I'm going to keep firing off Power Whips here, and I think he's going to keep on going for Moonlights. And I think it was at this point where I was like, okay, I don't want to waste any more time here. He's probably going to keep spamming Moonlight here. So I'm going to have to play into my Mega Aerodactyl and just try to make this match go a little bit quicker. Because like I said, I do have Crunch on this Mega Aerodactyl here. So he's going to keep spamming Moonlight. I'm going to Mega Evolve this turn, and I am just going to click Crunch. I have no reason not to. Risk Stone Edge missing and all that stuff. So we're going to Mega Evolve here. We're going to click Crunch, as I said. And depending on his investment, this is going to be a clean to a KO regardless. But he does reveal to have Cobra Berry on his Musharna, so he was prepping for my Hydreigon, which I obviously did not bring. And he's going to go for Moonlight again, which is kind of like a fruitless endeavor, no offense. He did apologize afterwards, saying that he didn't mean to stall out these last few turns the way it happened. It was just like, it was more so like frustration on his part, considering how the match like sort of ended and whatnot. But I am happy with the way I played this game. I played it pretty close to the vest. I played very aggressively when I needed to. I played very cautiously when I needed to. I probably should have not risked the Z Acid Downpour on the Finny, just to make sure I had a check for a better check for Greninja. But nonetheless, we are going to pick up the 6-0 win over, odds are, the Memphis Bewears. First off, GG. 2 odds. Like I said, like the matchup was kind of like iffy all over the place and whatnot. There were some stuff I wasn't expecting him to bring, like the Trick Room option with the Musharna and the Mega Canrub. It did throw me off. I was not expecting it, but luckily for me, I did have Ferro-thorns. I kept it healthy throughout the remainder of the match. I didn't end up regretting not bringing Taunt on my Finny, even though if I did bring Taunt, it would have made the game go a lot quicker. I would have been able to taunt the Musharna and not like end up in that last few turns of stall for the most part. But nonetheless, I'm just gonna cut it there. So after 10 weeks, we are now at 8-2 plus 15 differential. I believe at this point, at the time we record, I am the #1 seed now. I don't know what happens as a result of the Aberdeen Azalps game. So depending on how that goes, we could be the 1 seed or the 2 seed still. The last 2 games I probably won't take that seriously, even though my last 2 games are against the current 3 and 4 seeds in my conference. I don't want to give away too much of my sets to potential round 1 playoff opponents, for obvious reasons. I don't want to I don't really do good when it comes to rematches and whatnot. So that's going to be pretty much it for me, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy the battle. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, check out my opponent's side of the battle. I'll just link it, will be in the description down below as always. And that's going to be it from me, guys. That's nothing much else to say about it. So until the next time, guys, this is Tone signing off for now. Peace out.